For thousands of years, California belonged to the giant redwoods, the birds and animals, and the Native Americans who lived along its coast and riverbanks. Then, about 500 years ago, the first Europeans arrived and claimed this beautiful land for God and for Spain. 300 years later, in 1821, Spain lost its control and California became part of a new independent country called Mexico. During the next few years, settlers from the United States began to arrive, some by ship, others by land. These first visitors from the States found coastal California quiet and nearly empty, but this would soon change. In 1846, war broke out between Mexico and the United States. As a result, on February 2nd, 1848, Mexican California became an official part of the United States. At almost the same moment, in fact, within 1 week, the first gold flakes and nuggets were found in the Sierra Nevada mountains. The cry of gold rang up and down the coast. By the summer of 1848, about 4,000 miners, Indians, Mexican Californios, Americans, and Oregonians were excitedly digging in the riverbeds of the Sierra Nevadas. During that spring and summer, news of gold strike made its way back to the States. But it was not until December 5th, 1848, that President James Polk, in a speech to Congress, declared that the stories of gold in California were actually true. Carried by newspapers, Polk's words spread their way down the country lanes and into farmhouse kitchens across America. The idea of traveling to California and picking up a pocketful of rocks was almost too much to resist. In fact, the decision to pick up and go to California was not an easy one. First, family would leave behind everything that it owned. Second, it cost money for travel and supplies. Third, California was a long way away. Going digging and returning could easily take a couple of years. From eastern states like Massachusetts, there were 3 possible routes: by sea around the tip of South America, by sea with a midpoint hike across Panama, or by land across the American Great Plains. In 1849, most gold seekers from the States went by land. Part of that reason was cost. Part of that reason was that travel on the ocean was scary. In this journey, you will be joining 29,000 who in the spring of 1849 were taking a land route to California. You will first create a persona that as a person you will travel west. You will experience your adventure through a collection of 8 documents. The documents are organized into 3 groups or buckets: getting there, being there, and the decision to return home. Your task will be to write a letter to your family back at home to describe the things that you've seen, your trip to get there, how your life has changed, and if and when you will ever return home. Find a comfortable spot next to your buffalo chip campfire, pull out your leather-colored journal and your knapsack. Then, in the voice of a person making the trek to California in 1849, write your letter back home to your family. A good letter will have lots of rich detail from the documents. Make your letter so believable that a person reading it would believe that you're actually a 49er coming from California to find gold and make it rich. Best wishes. May God be with you, and may you return with several pockets full of rocks.